A lot of people's favourite. He's creating a big reputation for himself from a little body with his twin brother as well.
I think he's got a little body.
Dylan Walker from the One New Zealand Warriors joins us. Thanks for calling us back, Dylan.
Hey, boys. Sorry about that. It was a little bit hectic with the family, but we've got it under control now.
Good boy. Hey, big congratulations for last week as well. But the big question on everyone's lips is like this momentum you're building is just absolutely fantastic for us fans and undoubtedly for you players as well. But it's 5 games into the season. How do you measure the mix of celebrating but keeping things in perspective?
Yeah, that's it's a real good question. I think like as good as that win was, and how much belief we got from it, we're still a little bit upset and filthy at ourselves, just letting that first half and that first 20 minutes get away from us just so quickly. And there's lots to improve on. Like we weren't at our best. We defended quite well all year until that game, and just little moments in the game. And Cronulla are a really good side, so for us just to keep coming and training each day and every week, and just being honest of how we are on our performances. And, the coaching staff has got, lots of numbers, and, there's lots of guys, even today was in doing lots of video and, narrowing it down of what they can do better. And I think that's what's the most exciting part as a player. And being a little bit older, you see guys like Edu Kossi and all the younger guys and Vilea, Pillar, and they just come in wanting to get better, and that's what the most exciting part is about being in the playing squad.
Yeah, nice. And you're adding to that, Walk. Say, how's the body, mate? You seem to take a heavy knock on the weekend. How's that knee?
Yeah, it's a bit of friendly fire from old Jazz and my old mate there. So don't worry, mate. He copped a bit of a spray after the game. I told him to fix up his technique, but yeah, it should be all right. It's just a bit of ice and just a lot more recovery for me this week.
And how's that relationship going with Jazz? Because I think it could be something special. You two, you're building like that personal relationship together, but on the football field, that little touch for that first try the other week, and then just the way that you two get stuck in out there together with calling you the Ball Brothers, I think that's hilarious. But what do you think about that relationship with Jazz, mate? You think it could be something special?
Nah, yeah, it is something special. I think the first time I properly met Jazz was in the Maldives All-Stars a few years ago, and we just hit it off straight away. We're pretty much similar in a way. I don't know how to say, but we're both a bit of rat bags. We don't mind a bit of a laugh and a bit of banter. And yeah, I don't know. We're quite similar in ways, and me and Jazz, we've hit it off straight away, and just seeing him come back from his injuries and just the way he's playing now has just been, it's honestly, it's actually stunned me just how mentally tough he is as a person and as a player. And, he's probably been one of our best in the first, ever since he come back. And mate, it's a special connection that we got at the moment. I think he's got a nickname that we wanted, and it was called Kin Action. And I wasn't too sure about it. It was a kin up, but we're in action. So I said, that's a work in progress for us.
It is.
Hey, Dylan, jersey 14, it's never really been a sexy jersey, but you're making it sexy, and in that way, and I don't mean in an amorous way at all, Dylan, don't get me wrong, but it's just like when I see that you're about to enter the game, it is the absolute game changer. It's not a replacement. To me, it's an enhancement because you're fresh, you've got experience, you run different angles, and you've got some really good tandem efforts with Jazz, as Kempy just said. But is it like in sport people want to start, but I almost feel like you relish coming off the bench and being a change maker? Yeah,
well, mate, I think I found myself in that position a few years ago under Desi. The boys were playing well. I started the year at fullback. It was horrendous the first 4 rounds when I played, and when I come back, the boys were going really well, and he said, mate, I don't know where to put you. And he goes, I'll put you on the bench, but I don't know where to put you. And I just said, put me on the middle and I'll play like a ball playing middle. And he was like, oh, okay, because we had Jake Trbojevic out at the time. And he put me on for 10 minutes or like a few minutes against Cowboys at the time. And then he said, oh, I like this. And then it just stemmed from that. And, ever since, being in that position, it was quite bitter at the time when I wasn't starting because I played all my career either at centre or in the halves, and it was just, I don't know, I've got a breath of fresh air, just a new lease on life of this 14 role, and just trying to make it my own. And I do like what you said before, and making that jersey look sexy. I might have to use that a couple of times. I don't know about sexy, but I'll say I'll make it cool being on the bench.
I'll tell Petey to pump that song up next home game, mate, for you when you're running out. Hey,
100%.
Hey, mate, 5 weeks in, what have you noticed about the competition? What's the difference between last year and this year with those rule changes?
Oh yeah, that's another good one. I think it's just the rule changes haven't probably been effective as much, but honestly, from this year to last year, just how Webby's delivered a lot of his speeches to us about thinking correctly under pressure, in high pressure situation moments, and the boys there's just a real calmness about the playing squad. Like even on the weekend when we walked in at half time 26-12 down, or we were huddling up on the field, everyone was real calm, and we were just worried about what we've been doing well. And every time we had the ball down in their end, or we held onto the ball, we felt like we were making meters and we were putting them in the spots where we wanted to. And then when we come in at half time, we just spoke about just starting that second half as, start holding the ball, have possession, because we know if we have equal share possession, the game will turn. And, and we just stuck to, hard work. And that was just kick chase and then, trying to get line speed on plays 2 and 3. And the game just slowly turned and we grinded it out. And it's a really good sign as a player when you see that, because everyone was just on board. There was no complaining. There was just a real calmness about what we're doing in the business. And then when you're creating a anxiety pressure for oppositions when they're trying to ruck it out of their end, and we're fortunate enough that they made a few errors and we capitalised on the back of them.
Hey, Dylan, we went to our listeners and said text us through some questions because they don't often get an opportunity to talk to you, so we're providing that. First one says, "Hi, Dylan. Being of Maori heritage, do you catch up with family or have you traced your heritage here in New Zealand?"
No, I've got a sister that lives in Tauranga, so she come up for the home game last week. We've spent a bit of time down there. I've got family. I don't know if all Maori say this, but I've got family everywhere. So
I'm sure we're from Whangarei as well.
yeah, mate. Everyone's coming out and showing I'm your cousin. I'm wearing the same whakapaka. So it's just, mate. Honestly, I've got 2 young boys here, and I think that was just a real. It definitely drew me here. Just being that heritage and having something to belong to as the jersey was. And, it's a work in progress at the moment of learning a lot more about my culture, and something I'm very keen on.
There's a few funny ones. I'll share them with you. Vaughan says, "Can you ask Dylan, does he call Jazz Daddy because he scores more tries than him?"
I would never call anyone daddy. That's one thing. You know what? What was that guy's name?
Vaughan.
Vaughan. If Vaughan wants to look up the try scoring tallies, come speak to me.
Good answer.
Have you had?
I think Jazz might have to call me a lot more bigger than Daddy.
I think that's Jazz's alias, Vaughan.
Someone else asking if you and Jazz have the same wax technician before the game to reduce drag.
You know what? A funny story. It's not the wax. We got this. We were playing cards in his room just before the game kicked off last weekend. He had this real nice oat oil. Something that was oat oil, and mate, it was hilarious. We were sitting in the room playing cards, and then he goes, "Oh, try this oil. It's mad." And I was like, "All right, sweet." So I put it on, and legit, it just smelled that nice. So I was like, "Can I?" I already asked him for it. Like, "Can I have this oil?" So I wouldn't say wax, but we got a good oat oil happening that we lather on our heads.
Mate, I've got to ask you, with your heritage, and you've played for, mate, you got more teams that you've played for, New South Wales, Australian, the Indigenous, the All-Stars, and now the Maoris. Have you thought about throwing on the black jersey?
Hey, yeah, I've never played for the Indigenous. I don't have Aboriginal in me.
No, I mean, before that was called the NRL All Stars, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. No, yeah. Funny that I tried to make a change to try and play for New Zealand last year or over the last few years, just because Michael Maguire's the coach, and he handed me my first grade debut jersey. So we've got a very good relationship, and yeah, I tried to do it last year, but just because I picked Australia back in 2014 when I just turned 20 actually, and they sort of just fell on that, saying, "No, you've already picked," and that was it. So it was pretty disappointing because at the time, I neglected this side just purely because personal reasons with family and stuff and my old man. But it was just a decision that was sort of rushed, and I didn't feel at the time that I was worthy enough to even try and put on a jersey that I've never lived here. I only come back here a few times, like a handful of times when I was younger, and I thought I was just an Aussie boy. But the NRL or the ARL had something. I'm not the ARL, the IRL had different plans, and they wanted to stick to their guns, and which is quite disappointing. But it is what it is, and it would have been something really cool to try and put on that black jersey and represent my heritage.
Brilliant, Dylan. We've got to push on. We're loving what you're doing. We're loving what the whole team's doing, the whole country, a huge fan base. It's just brilliant. Keep it rolling. Thanks heaps for joining us today.
Cheers, boys. Thanks for having me, and sorry for being late.
That's all right. Dylan Walker, One New Zealand Warrior, Jersey 14, bringing sexy back.